Boy, Justin Trudeau just can't catch a break. And he's even now garnering criticism from Mr. Wonderful himself, Kevin OLeary. Let's get into it.
Oh, yeah!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. We've seen people heckling Justin Trudeau. We've seen people yelling at him in the streets. We've seen Justin Trudeau confronted on just about every avenue. And that certainly makes him no stranger to escape criticism from individuals such as Kevin OLeary. Now, if you don't know much about Kevin OLeary, I'll just remind everyone that, of course, he had his long-standing show on the CBC, or the Clown Broadcasting Corporation, that Justin Trudeau funds, known as the Dragon's Den. Now, this is very similar to the ABC hit series Shark Tank that Kevin OLeary is also a part of, with others like Mark Cuban and Damon John, I believe the man's name is, that started FUBU. When it comes to the Shark Tank, though, Kevin OLeary has left the Dragon's Den, and he has always offered his criticisms up on Justin Trudeau and his politics. It's now been more prevalent than ever after Kevin OLeary even teased the ability that he was going to run, or the possibility, I should say, that he was going to run for Prime Minister of Canada at one point. Now, of course, has withdrawn from that, but he's no stranger when it comes to criticizing him. Now, Kevin OLeary being somebody who's well-formed in the business world, somebody who runs his life around investments and strategy, as well as financial planning. But of course, that would make him, well, pretty tuned in when it comes to his opinions on what this country needs. When Kevin OLeary has been on many programs, including the OLeary, his show, what was it, the OLeary Report, or the OLeary Factor? I can't remember. I didn't really catch it when it was on CBC back in the day before the Dragon's Den, but nonetheless, his expertise is always welcome. But on this clip, Kevin OLeary, of course, taking his time to just absolutely demolish and shred Justin Trudeau. Again, this is coming from a man who's very prominent in the business world, somebody who understands investment, somebody who understands financial strategy, and of course, making it very apparent that Justin Trudeau and Crystia Freeland know nothing about what this country needs in terms of monetary policy. Let's take a listen.
Well, you mentioned policy, so I couldn't wait, Kevin, to bring this up to you, because let's get what people are calling Orwellian online harm bills, courtesy of Justin Trudeau, with the Canadian Prime Minister backing imprisoning people for life over speech crimes and social media safety crackdown. The Online Harms Act, designed to make social media platformers safe, is being slammed as Orwellian and overreach by voters. Some say it's like a page or a scene from Minority Report. I mean, your take on Trudeau's latest here?
I think I've been pretty consistent in my, and I want to choose my words carefully here because I want to be supportive of Canada. I'm a big believer in its potential, and I'll say it again. When you look at the per capita of Canada, 37 million people, and you look at the natural resources the country has, per capita, it's one of the richest countries on earth, run by complete idiots. And there's no other way to put it. You might as well tell the truth. It's so important that Justin Trudeau be thanked for his service and then removed from office. And an election will be coming in the next 18 months. He is the worst manager Canada has ever had. Total incompetency underneath him in the cabinet seats. Total incompetency in almost every mandate. Absolutely the worst I've ever seen. The very, very, very worst. And I think the Canadian people are starting to see how horrific this management team is. And it's very important. And listen, he's been a wildly successful politician, but the derivatives you're talking about are part of this complete incompetency of managing Canada's biggest business, Canada itself. This is a totally incompetent government from the top down. The worst managers in the country's history.
Kevin OLeary, again, making it no qualms to really, he says he wanted to choose his words very carefully, but of course brings out how Justin Trudeau is the worst and his party is the worst in terms of competency, basically saying everything that we've been saying for the last 8 years. Now, with Kevin O'Leary, again, this is a man who no longer invests in Canada's future as much as he does with America's, simply because there are more advantages in the American economy, and there's a whole ball of twine that gets wrapped up in that one. But when it comes to Justin Trudeau, and he talks about one thing, is that he hasn't invested in Canada, Canada's people. When he mentions things like the online harms bill and how they're essentially going to just basically, as the host says, a minority report almost on content creators, we've already seen that start to take hold on platforms like YouTube, on places like Twitter, where there's shadow banning, where Meta users have been, if you looked at our videos last week, we had Meta users who are constantly being defaulted to lower the amount of political stories or political posts that they see in their timelines, that you actually have to go in and change your settings. The government is making sure that when it comes time for our next federal election, that your ability to maintain any form of news or any form of information outside of those that the government pays to give you that information are extremely limited. And again, as I've said before, it is going to be very interesting to see what happens on platforms such as YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, Twitter, any of the online platforms, even platforms that are more user-friendly like Rumble, to see what kind of filtered censorship comes down upon the people as Justin Trudeau uses his wedge issues and his lame excuses as to why he should remain Prime Minister of Canada in the next election as he pushes forward. Now, of course, polls have come out recently showing that the Trudeau Liberals are actually polling third to take in the next election, meaning that their party is pretty much put down below the NDP's current status, which is really laughable at best when you think about it. Of course, the Bloc seizing up more seats in comparison to the Conservatives, who have maintained a very large lead over top of the Liberals and every other party competing against them to possibly form a majority government in the next election. So as I said, it's going to take it's going to be interesting to see where things go. Kevin O'Leary, of course, hitting all the nails on the head with this statement about Justin Trudeau and his incompetency level of Canada. It's always great to go into the weekend seeing some form of, hyperbole against Justin Trudeau or criticism in his corner to make him look bad. At least that's going to make my Easter a lot better, to have a good chuckle at Trudeau's expense. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Has Kevin O'Leary really torn him a new one? Should Kevin O'Leary have stuck with running for Prime Minister? I personally don't think so. I don't think he stood a snowball's chance in hell of becoming Prime Minister of Canada. But boy, if that man would have been in power at the same time that Donald Trump was president of the United States, I could just imagine a real-life Shark Tank occurring when it comes time to negotiating deals between the countries. But again, give me your 2 cents up in the comments below. If it's your first time here, I hope this video's earned your subscription. Make sure to click that subscribe bar with the bell for notifications to be alerted every time we have new content dropping here on the channel. Make sure to join us every Friday night on the channel for Friday Night Fringe, our live stream segments at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, every Friday here on the channel, where we go over everything that's happened in the past week, everything coming up in the week ahead as well, current events, and a little bit of back and forth with our community. It's always great to see new folks popping in, as well as those who have been here for a long time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have yourselves a great rest of your Easter weekend. I'll catch you on the next one.